Keyword research. How do you get started with keyword research? And why is keyword research so important? We're going to break it down for you in this section. Hey there, it's Gerald here from Similarweb, the official measure of the digital world. We have loads of different keyword datasets, and best of all, they're updated on a daily basis, so that when you carry out keyword research, you're taking the most fresh, relevant keywords into your strategy, so that you are kept bang up to date. We have loads of features to help you find keywords. For example, keyword generator, keyword seasonality, and even keywords by industry, which looks at thousands of websites at one time, plus much more. Key points we're going to cover in this section are: what is keyword research? How do you use and organize your keywords into themes or topics? And what is keyword intent? And how does it relate to the theory of the buyer's journey? So what is keyword research? Well, keyword research is the process of thinking about what keywords your customers will use to find your website. But crucially, we're also thinking about what keywords your potential customers will use to find your upcoming content. The first step is to map out what content themes you want to own. So for example, if we wanted to optimize content for a sporting brand, your content themes might be things like clothing or accessories. The second step is to figure out what's the themes within the theme. So in clothing, for example, you might have sub-themes of t-shirts, shorts, and swimwear. How do you use and organize your keyword themes? The best practice is to use a parent and child logic structure. A parent group is a core group, for example, clothing, and a child group is a subcategory or a subgroup within that group, for example, dresses or footwear. And best practice is to make sure you've got a really good, consistent and clean naming convention. So for example, for your parent group of clothing, you want to have underneath that clothing-dresses, clothing-footwear. Now we have your topic and subtopic themes and keyword lists mapped out, you'll need to focus on the individual keywords themselves. Before we dive into keyword-specific ideas, we need to wrap our heads around another really important theory. It's called keyword intent, or it's often sometimes referred to as the buyer's journey. This is the process of finding out what the searcher will do after they complete a search using a particular keyword on a specific search engine. Keyword intent can be split into three categories: awareness, consideration, and decision. Awareness are usually big, broad terms that don't really generate a lot of SERP clicks. For example, shoes. When someone does a search using this term, they're not really sure which type of shoe. Is it for casual? Is it for office? And so on. Consideration, on the other hand, is a little bit more specific. The searcher's a little bit more down that funnel of the buyer's journey. So for example, if we do a search for running shoes, that would be classified as a consideration keyword. It's likely to generate more clicks on the SERP. And third and finally, we have decision. These are usually specific. So for example, if we do a search for best running shoes for flat feet, that would be considered a decision keyword because the searcher knows exactly what they want. And as a result, it generates a lot more clicks. Now, just because we have keywords and themes identified, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can use those across all different types of search engines. For example, if a search is getting a lot of searches on Google, doesn't mean that that'll be applicable for Amazon and YouTube. You need to have a search engine specific strategy. So on Google, for example, we may do a search for air conditioning units. That doesn't mean that we need to optimize our Amazon page for air conditioning units. It may be on Amazon that our search behavior is air conditioning units for a small office space, or quiet air conditioning units. On YouTube, it may even be more broader or inspirational, where we're looking for things like hard to clean an air conditioning unit. So yes, the core topic may be the same. So what we also need to do as part of our parent and child group structure is to name them by search engine too. SERP inspection and content hubs. So now before we jump into specific keywords that will be really applicable for each of your parent and child keyword lists, let's actually talk about what content hubs are. You want to analyse who currently ranks really well for a keyword before you start to look and see, is this a space you want to get into? In other words, what we're starting to ask ourselves is, what does Google present highly today? And what patterns can I get out of those analysis? So let's take the word holiday destinations, for example. We'll want to look at the top results. And then what we want to do is to have a look and see what sort of patterns or trends can we find out. Do a lot of those results have things like the top 10 holiday destinations in them? Or do they talk about holiday destinations and inspiration ideas for 2022? In which case you want to make sure that if that's still a topic you want to go for, and if you want to do well in that, going back to what Google Panda is, you want to make sure that you're creating really unique content that doesn't have the top 10, the top 20 in it. You want to maybe go for things like Complete Holiday Destination Guide to Europe. Then what you want to do is to create content hubs. And this really helps you stand out from the crowd. So by content hubs, it may be best holiday destinations in Europe. And then off that, you've got another subset of pages which looks at holiday destinations in Northern Europe, Southern Europe, and so on. And that really helps you to create content and allows you to become a real specialist in your field. And actually, it's another signal to search engines that you really know this space, and as a result, the keyword landscape really well. Next up is our How-To and Metrics That Matter guide to pick good quality keywords for your parent-child keyword lists. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video where we will go more in depth about keyword research part 2.